The wisdom behind the marriages of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The noble Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was sent as a mercy to all creation, and every aspect of his life, including his marriages, reflected divine wisdom and mercy. His marital life was not driven by worldly desire, but by spiritual, social, moral, and legislative purposes decreed by Allah the Exalted. For more than 25 years he, peace be upon him, remained devoted to a single wife, Khadija bint Khuwaylid radiallahu anha, a noble widow older than himself. Throughout this long companionship, he never married another woman until after her passing, though he was at the height of his youth and strength. This fact alone, as classical scholars remark, proves beyond doubt that his later marriages were not for lust, but for higher reasons of faith, mercy, and reform. When he later married multiple women, every union served a noble purpose. As Ibn Kathir writes, the Prophet, peace be upon him, married women from various tribes to bring their hearts together and strengthen the bonds between the Muslims. Through these marriages, enmity was transformed into friendship, and Islam spread widely through these familial ties. His marriages thus became a means of uniting tribes and peoples, bringing peace to the Arabian Peninsula after centuries of tribal division. At the same time, the Prophet, peace be upon him, extended his hand in compassion to widows and the vulnerable. As Al-Qadiyaz beautifully noted, he married widows not for pleasure, but to console them, protect them, and grant them honor after the loss of their husbands who were martyred in the cause of Allah. Indeed, among his wives were Sauda bint Zamiyah radiallahu anha, Salama radiallahu anha, and Zainab bint Khuzaymah radiallahu anha, all widows who found in him a merciful protector and noble companion. Some of his marriages were divinely ordained to establish legal and moral principles that would benefit the entire ummah. His marriage to Zainab bint Jahsh radiallahu anha is a clear example. Allah ordered his messenger to marry Zainab to abolish the pre-Islamic practice of adoption, which treated the adopted son as a real son. Thus, this marriage was by divine command to establish a legal ruling for the ummah. In this way, the Prophet's household became a living manifestation of divine law and guidance. Furthermore, his wives, the mothers of the believers, Ummahat al-Mu'mineen, were chosen by Allah to preserve and transmit the intimate teachings of the Prophet's household. Imam al-Suyuti observed that Allah chose for his Prophet wives who possessed intelligence, purity, and wisdom, so they could preserve and transmit his household teachings to the ummah. Through them, a large portion of the religion reached us. Chief among them was Aisha, radiallahu anha, renowned for her vast knowledge of fiqh, medicine, and history. Her closeness to the Prophet ﷺ allowed her to learn his private and public sunnah, which she conveyed to the people after his death. Beyond the legal and educational roles, his marriages demonstrated the perfection of his character and compassion. He was the best of husbands, gentle, humble, and merciful. His marriages taught the ummah how to treat women with justice, kindness, and respect. His household was the most perfect example of mercy, patience, and balance, serving as a model for believers to follow. Through his wives, the details of his home life, character, and conduct were preserved as guidance for all Muslims. It is also clear that several of these marriages were a matter of divine command, rather than personal choice. Ibn Taymiyyah explains that some of the Prophet's marriages were specific to him by divine permission, and were not lawful for others. This shows that they were acts of obedience, not desire. Allah himself declares in the Quran, thus his marriages were part of his prophetic mission, guided by revelation and wisdom. Finally, the notion that these marriages were motivated by passion is refuted by the testimony of history and by the scholars. The Prophet's multiple marriages were based on divine wisdom and compassion, not personal desire. His life before revelation and his long monogamous marriage to Khadija prove his chastity and self-restraint. As Imam an-Nawawi emphasized, had he married out of lust he would have done so in his youth, but all his marriages occurred after the age of 50, most to widows. This is clear evidence that his intention was not sensual pleasure. In every marriage of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, there was divine purpose and moral beauty. His household united tribes, protected widows, established laws, transmitted knowledge, and modeled mercy. As Ibn Kathir summarized, in each of his marriages, there was wisdom that benefited the religion. Thus his polygamy was not a matter of indulgence, but a manifestation of revelation, compassion, and leadership. An essential part of his mission as the seal of the prophets, sent as a mercy to the worlds.